Go.
Hello, it is week one in the IHL. We have JonahRah versus Bananaramic. I am Wicked Good. I am here with Appa. I could not be more excited to lead off the Into the Wild League. Appa, how are you doing on this fine Monday evening?
I'm doing good. We had to start a little late because we had some OBS difficulties, but I'm really excited to cast this. We have two really great wild players, and it looks like they brought some interesting classes, and I'm definitely really excited to spectate this one.
Yeah, me too. So we have JonahRah, who is one of the finalists of the 2018 Wild Open. Also, just generally a very well-known and very accomplished Wild player in general. But also competes in Standard. He competes in both formats, but known for his deck building in Wild. And Bananaramic, who is a contributor to the Vicious Syndicate Report. Also, again, a very accomplished Wild player in his own right, known for innovating on a number of the wild versions of decks that you've seen over the last couple of metas. So I am really, really excited to see what these players are going to bring. Jonah has Hunter, Mage, and Warrior, and Banana has Mage, Paladin, and Priest. So you will note there is no Druid on that list. So no stars will be aligning today,
Yeah,
which I think everyone could be happy about.
it's definitely going to be refreshing to see not Druid on the list. We definitely get enough of that in on ladder, so it's going to be nice to see some different classes.
Yeah. So and you'll notice I only listed three classes per. The format for IHL is a little bit different. If you've followed some of the other community leagues, you might be familiar with it. But in general, what happens is that we have 3 rounds of 3 weeks apiece, and each player chooses three classes with no ban, best of five conquest. And once a player chooses a class, they cannot use that for the rest of that 3 week block. So Jonas picked Hunter Mage and Warrior this week. He will have to choose among the 6 remaining classes next week. Same for Banana and his classes. So there's a little bit of gamesmanship in terms of what classes you're going to bring what week. There are also some weeks that are going to have specific deck building restrictions. This is not one of them. This is just whatever decks you want to build. Just pick 3 classes, and the only restriction is you can't use those classes the next couple weeks. So we actually don't have access to the deck list, so we're gonna discover this along with you. So I mean, I don't even really know if we can talk about how these classes are going to line up without knowing the individual lists. I mean, Hunter could be any number of archetypes. It could be spell, it could be Death Rattle, it could be Secret Hunter. With I played against that with Subject 9 in Wild today even. Mage could be Control, Reno, or Aggro, and Warrior is kind of an all over the place. So, and then as far, again with Mage, Paladin, I don't think has really been explored too much. Priest could be Big Priest, could be Combo Priest, could be something else.
Yeah, there's a lot of different variations. I think especially with the warrior, I think that's the one I'm most excited to see because you have the really aggressive hyper aggro pirate builds, and then you have on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have like the Nazoth really grindy control build. So I'm really excited to see what he brought for that.
Yeah. So, I don't know if we should belabor the point. We've already made these people wait enough. I'm ready to give the players the go ahead signal if you are. So,
Yeah, definitely.
okay. So I will let them go ahead. So meanwhile, you can also we'll point out while we're waiting for the game to get underway. You can find all the information about the league at instawildhs.com. There is a section in the menu for league that you can see all the players' profiles as well as the schedule and stuff about us, the casters, if you care about that kind of thing. But that's not the most important thing. But the important thing is that we are getting into game one, and we're going to have Bananas Paladin versus Jonas Hunter.
So this will be an interesting one.
Oh, wow. I see a shrink ray. I'm
Oh wow.
excited.
I see Shrink Ray, I see Feign Deaths, and I see Eggs. I think this is going to be a good one.
This is going to be fun. I am excited to see some Control Paladin. All right. So, yeah, the shrink ray. So keeping the acolyte and the shielded mini bot does bananas seems to make sense. Looks like that was a full keep from Jonah. He's got Nerubian eggs and Devilsaur eggs.
Oh wow. This looks like it might be a maybe some sort of anything can happen Paladin build.
Oh, that would make me so happy. I've actually was thinking this morning that I wanted to play Anyfin again, and this is not going to disappoint me. So the Nerubian Egg comes out for Jonah, and Banana has a whole bunch of different ways he can do this. He's deciding not to address the egg and just playing out the shielded mini bot, and another egg coming down for Jonah.
Yeah, it's definitely good to develop your mini bots when you can. That card's pretty messed up, but it's gonna run really nicely into this Feign Death turn from JonahRah. This is gonna be gross.
That Feign Death is gonna make a lot of things. So that's gonna be a 5/5 and a 4/4 for 2 mana. Seems good.
Yeah, I think that's the best 2-drop I've ever seen.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Banana sent away the Shrink Ray, so he doesn't have that available to him. Does have the Call to Arms, so we're gonna bring out some Murlocs. Looks like.
Yeah, I feel like Call to Arms definitely. Ooh, wow, got some dirty rats in here to pull out. This seems like it's definitely a good Call to Arms deck.
Yeah. I mean that was the way you used to play. You used to play Anyfin back in the last meta, and you just get Call to Arms to pull out all of your Murlocs except for pretty much Finja. At least get your bluegills out, and then you did have there were some people trying Master Oakheart even to get the war leaders out.
That's deep.
Yeah, I don't know if Banana's going that far, but I am interested to see what kind of spicy tech he has in this Anyfin Paladin.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Shrink Ray, so I'm already sold. So anything past that is like, it's just a gift.
I know. I would love to see some prismatic lenses. Maybe that would be nice.
Oh my goodness.
So we're gonna cube the Devilsaur Egg, get a 5/5 out, and then get 2 more cubes in the cube, or 2 more eggs in the cube, not more 2 cubes in the egg. And Banana's gonna try to clean up this board as best he can. Fin's just gonna come out to try to pull some of the rest of the Murlocs out. Though no Anyfin in sight either. Though he does have a Spike Ridge Steed that he can put out next turn on the Finja in order to make it a little bit stickier. And he seems to be making decent work of this board.
Yeah, I feel like we're about to approach a really interesting mid-game, because both players want to do something uninteractive with their opponents, but the Spike Ridge Steed on this Finja is going to make it really, really awkward and like force the interaction.
Corpse Taker.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow. Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, you get some you probably have Wicker Flame Burn Bristle in there. I'm sure you got a Tyrion. Like that's some good stuff right there.
Who brought the Sriracha? Because this is spicy.
But it's almost like you have too many options here for Banana, and I'm not sure which way you go, but it looks like we're gonna pull out the War Leader, buff up the Finja that way. No need to commit the Spike Ridge Steed just yet.
Yeah, I definitely like the value trade.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, Old Murkai is a card in Wild.
I forgot that card existed. Oh man, it's been a while since I played Anyfin.
That is an angry 7/4 Murloc is what that is right there.
He's only gonna get angrier. I wonder if he wants to Zola this, honestly. Because it's one of the best cards in his deck outside of actual Anyfin.
Yeah.
So it's possible that he just wants to like Zola it, trade the 4/1 into the 5/4, and then just go face for 7. You might just be able to aggro him down.
Looks like that's what. Well, at least we're gonna Zola the Murkai, that's for sure. It looks like face is the place for Murkai and take out the 5/4 exactly.
Yeah, and this egg deck does not play defense particularly well.
No, but we can track him for some things. We do have a Hunter's Mark in hand. We have access to another one, or a Feign Death could build up another Born Presence, and that looks like that's the way Jonah's going to go.
Oh,
and
wow.
with the Houndmaster Shaw, that is dirty.
Gonna trade in the cube, Feign Death, get 2 5/5s and a 4/4, all with Rush, and then in Houndmaster Shaw is a messed up card.
Oh man,
Bananaramic completely loses his board here.
Yeah, and
I just said it doesn't play defense particularly well, but Shaw proved me wrong.
Yeah, so, well, you have Crystal Smith Kangor, doesn't really do much right now. I guess the Corpse Taker has the Wind Fury, so that could help him a little, or not Wind Fury, Lifesteal, but that could help him a little bit later, but that's also just kind of a wall that he needs right now. Would love to see, like, an Equality or Consecration or anything. Or Anyfin would be good too, but anything to clear this board, and and he's going to need 2 board clears to deal with those eggs. And not to mention that if he doesn't clear the Shaw in short order, then he's going to be dealing with whatever comes out of those eggs.
Yeah, Corpse Taker's one of his best defensive options, but the problem is that if he plays a Corpse Taker now, then JonahRah just gets to kind of deal with it in whatever way he wants. He gets to navigate with tempo around this Corpse Taker, which is kind of bad for Bananaramic.
Yeah. Oh, that Witchwood Grizzly. You have the choice, the Witchwood Grizzly or the Katharina. Either way, the Katharina with the Houndmaster Shaw on board is pretty gross in and of itself.
Yeah, I think that's what he's gonna go for, and that's what we see him do.
Yeah.
What does it get? What spicy beast do we got?
Well, you get a Witchwood Grizzly either way, so.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That's actually kind of a smart play. I initially thought just trading the 3/12 into the 3/3 is just completely fine, but he wants to have as much health on the taunt as possible to save him from a potential, like, anything can happen, stealing the game. So he runs the Katharina in, plus you get the death rattle bonus when it dies anyway. So kind of a small play that I actually think is definitely pretty good.
I love this. This is, I mean, he's at 22, so this isn't going to do too much, but Crystalsmith Kangor is going to, has lifesteal itself and doubles the healing. So he's going to heal up to full, assuming that that Jonah doesn't use something like that Spider Bomb that he just picked up to be able to get through this Crystalsmith Kangor without trading minions into it.
Yeah, this is kind of an awkward position for JonahRah because he has the 3 eggs on the board that aren't doing anything. Because if he didn't, he would be able to play the bomb and just kind of 1-for-1 the Kangor and then just clean up the 2/6 afterwards.
Yeah, he has to trade in the 5/3 if he wants to do that. In which case, he's still healing. He's still healing Banana for 6. Though I guess, well, the flanking strike is going to be one way to deal with it, but he still does eventually have to trade into this. But he'll use the Katharina to replace itself on board. And there's King Crush.
There is
King Crush only knows one place to go. So, well, you've got another Corpse Taker, which I don't know if it's going to have the lifesteal now that you have the now that you've taken the Kangor out. We don't know what else is in the deck.
This is actually a really nice defensive turn. The Dirty Rat just for the 2/6 taunt is actually better at this point than his hand disruption.
Yeah, and then he's going to heal for probably 7 over the course of this, assuming he survives the turn. Assuming that two minions need to go into the Corpse Taker. Again, no opportunity really to get that bomb down on board because the board is just full, and you do need to trade off the 5/3. It looks like that might be the solution, but it's still going to end up healing for the 6.
Yeah,
or for 6 total.
I think what Bananaramic's playing to is this anything next turn. What Murlocs do we have in the pool? We have the War Leader, we have Murkai, and we have a Bluegill.
We have 2 Bluegills.
2 Bluegills. Okay.
And we have a Murkai, so he could do that, and then I think that should let him clear. I don't know if can he get through. He should be able to get through even that 310. I don't know if he's going to be able to do enough face damage. My anything math is a little bit rusty.
Yeah, mine too. I think what he's playing for is to clean up the board a little bit, and then grind down JonahRah until he can draw his second anything, which should be lethal at that point.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be, so if he trades in this 2/2, he's going to go up to 18, and there's 3, 6, 9, 17, 19 total, including the hero power. So he could, it looks like he's going anything now. He could Murkai with the War Leader to try to get through that. Is this just lethal?
No, he has to get through.
No, I don't think so. I was questioning with the well played, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I think he just knows that he doesn't have quite enough to get through the Grizzly.
That's like, you're like 3 off getting through that other 310. That is enough to live through this turn. And we don't see any additional damage from hand.
Well, he has lethal with cube plus the Stalker.
Yeah. Right.
It's like playing against Q-Block, except their Doom Guards are 8/8 dinosaurs.
See, I would play more Q-Block if the Doom Guards were 8/8 dinosaurs. Okay. So that is a very quick game one with some fantastic lists. I am so excited to see Anyfin again.
Yeah, this is...
Like, I spent like so much time trying to get Anyfin to work in the last meta right after the nerfs. So I want to just steal this list and go take it on ladder right after we're done with the cast. So Jonas Hunter is out of the way and now still has the mage and the warrior left for him. Banana has access to all three of his classes. So you know, we know that Anyfin is there. We don't know what the mage or the warrior are, but it looks like we're gonna go right into game number 2. And it's going to be right back to the paladin for Banana, into the mage for Jonah. And that is a Reno Jackson in Jonah's hand. So those dirty rats could loom large in the paladin, so we could be in here for a little while.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how the matchup is going to go here, because you would think that the paladin would be favored, but the Reno mage does have access to the ice block.
Yeah, so what the matchup used to boil down to was the Anyfin player would get them low enough to deal 30 with the Anyfin and pop the ice block, and the mage would have to Reno and clear or Blizzard in the same turn, and then they don't have access to another ice block, so the second Anyfin is usually lethal.
Yeah.
And general consensus from Anyfin players against control decks is actually to not play Finja like onto the board, because it actually dilutes your Anyfin combo potential pool. So I'm actually going to be interested to see if Bananaramic refrains from playing this Finja or not. I think it'll come down to how the texture of the game shapes up, but that's usually what you want to try and avoid.
Yeah. So the one thing that's different now from when this was in standard is that Zola the Gorgon is a card.
Yes.
So you have access to multiple Renos over the course of the game as the Reno mage. He could even be going as far to be playing Baleful Banker, which does get played in some... I know it gets played in Reno Warlock. I don't know if that generally makes the cut in Reno Mage.
I'm not sure, because a lot of it is combo with Glinda in Warlock.
And the other thing that you have is Frostlich Jaina. So you do have the opportunity after the ice block gets popped to, even if you don't have the Reno, you do have the opportunity to do something like a Baron Geddon, to be able to heal up to full even post Reno, even if you
that was a really good draw for Banana. His hand was
fantastic,
incredibly awkward before this, but this is going to give him really smooth out his draws.
Yeah, and looking to lead right into that call to arms on turn 5 probably. Looks like Jonah's got a polymorph that he obviously wants to save for a war leader or for a Murk-Eye. He also has a potion of polymorph in his hand that is going to be really interesting to see when he times that, because that is also another way to disrupt the combo. So Forbidden Flame will just take out this Acolyte and only give 1 card, though that is a Murloc, so it's going to be interesting to see how Banana wants to play this here. He is going to play the Finja out.
Okay. The matchup the context or the texture of the matchup may have shifted since I last played it, which admittedly is a while ago. I mean, Zola, I'm sure, does make a big difference copying Murk-Eyes or War Leaders to add them to the pool, but we may see this come back to bite him if this Finja gets resurrected too many times while going for the combo.
We do have a Prismatic Lens in the deck. That's exciting. I love that card. I'm glad that that's in there. So that lets him get access to another Call to Arms or another anything. Yeah, bring out the Voodoo Doll. That is a great pickup.
Yeah, that was
defuses that Voodoo Doll and gets the Potion to Polymorph on a non-Murloc.
Let's see what he pulls here. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of damage.
Just playing Murloc aggro Paladin.
Yep. Faces the place. Yeah, so presumably, the question is if Jonah's really going to have time to polymorph one of these, and it looks like no. He is going to have to Blizzard. So that puts both Bluegills back in the pool. And, the Zola is also going to hit one of the War Leaders, looks like.
Yeah, there's a few different lines Banana could play here. I'm not sure what all of his 2-drops in his deck are, but yeah, it seems like the Zola's gonna be hitting the War Leader.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because there is only there's only one polymorph deck unless there's something like like a primordial glyph. So having both of these 5/1s frozen on the board is a liability for Banana right now, but making sure that you're gonna have two at the end of the day for the combo is really important. So I definitely like that play a lot. And again, seeing that polymorph in hand for Jonah. And this explosive sheep is going to clean up this entire board. We don't have time for polymorph. We're just blowing up the board.
Yeah, this polymorph's a bit slow against a gigantic board of fish.
So this call to arms is going to come out. We're going to get Kangor and just get a whole bunch of stuff that are not Murlocs just out of the deck so we can find the other Anyfin as quickly as possible. Not sure what the other spells are for the Prismatic Lens to hit, but we've already seen both Call to Arms and one copy of Anyfin. So presumably there's at least a second copy of Prismatic and a second Anyfin for it to hit. And you don't really care what it gets discounted to because anything is less than 10.
Yeah. Prismatic Lens seems like just an upgrade to Anyfin.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the cards I've been most excited about in Standard that I haven't really seen, so it's good that we get to see some applications in Wild.
Yeah, and so Duplicate and Spellbender are the secrets that Jonah played out on that turn. We do have another Call to Arms is going to thin the deck some more, just getting one shielded mini-bot, which means that all the super cheap minions are out of the deck, but with Prismatic Lens you don't super care. You're just trying to draw a spell. You don't care what it costs.
Yeah, I think he led with the Call to Arms, knowing that it could only hit Minibot to try and play around Counterspell, so this Prismatic Lens doesn't get countered.
Right.
And I think he's just testing for secrets right now to try and set up a really big turn.
Yeah, and I'm only saying that mainly because a lot of around at the beginning of both Wild and Standard metas was around things like Dino Size and Anyfin, just trying to discount it, and the discount really isn't as important as just finding it as quickly as you possibly can. And since Prismatic Lens guarantees you're going to pull a spell, that's why it's in the deck. If the discount is just kind of a bonus.
Yeah, so the Anyfin deck is pretty much filled with healing, card draw, and things that get you dead.
Yeah. That Leyline Manipulator is from the deck, is it not? That is, I don't think we discussed that because we've been so busy talking about everything that's been going on at Banana's side. We haven't been talking about all this stuff that's in Jonah's hand right now. We have an Archmage Antonitis. We have a Leyline Manipulator. We have two Bram Bronzebeards that just got created from Duplicate.
Yeah,
this could get really dirty in a hurry.
Yeah, he has Archmage in this deck, which is a really interesting inclusion, which leads me to believe there's some sort of OTK potential with that.
Yeah.
Maybe Leyline Manipulator or something.
Yeah, I would imagine we're looking to get that Ice Block down ASAP that just came into the hand because that Anyfin is looming large. It's not really an issue with the board as full as it is, but it's going to become a threat from every turn here on out.
Yeah, these are the turns where it gets really complicated to play as the mage because you have to tiptoe around this looming Anyfin, and you also have to kind of present your own board to where once you Reno, you can actually clean up some of the Murlocs and you don't just die.
Right. And now Banana's got to decide how much he wants to play around Counterspell because he could Prismatic Lens this turn if he doesn't want to go in on the Anything, because getting a counter would be really bad. Getting the Prismatic Lens would also be bad, but and that pulls the Murkai and a Shrink Ray. So it doesn't actually pull the other Anyfin, but I think the Shrink Ray is probably okay, because there are going to be some big minions at some point coming out of Jonah's deck. And you do want to get that Murkai down at some point, but I'm sure he's also worried about a Potion of Polymorph, even though, well, he has seen one already. And I don't think we've not seen a Primordial Glyph, so there's not really too much of a worry about that, but plays the Righteous Protector just in case. Can't be too careful.
Yeah, he saw that JonahRah played the secret from the far right, which indicates that it's probably an Ice Block, but he just wants to make sure.
Yeah. And there is the Frostlich Jaina. which will allow for some burst healing later, but no Baron Geddon or anything like that in the hand. The other Prismatic Lens coming into hand for Banana, and I would imagine if it's not an Anyfin turn, the problem with the Anyfin turn is that you have to trade off most of your board, which means giving a whole bunch of life back to Jonah, but you probably have enough to cover it anyway.
Yeah, it's so awkward because I think he wants to use the Shrink Ray here to clean the Water Elemental up cleanly, but then that weakens your board to where Jaina's Hero Power creates just another one next turn that you have to deal with. So it looks like he may be trying to rush him down a little bit.
Yeah.
To then force a clear and then be able to subsequently follow that up with an Ice Blot or Anyfin to pop his Ice Blot.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, this is kind of becoming a threatening board just in and of itself. Like, Jonah does have to address this at some point.
Yeah, he has to address this. This is actually kind of clever from Bananaramic because he doesn't have to commit anything else to the board, and Jonah's going to want to attack into the 1/1 and then ping it off to clear it. And then usually I think that Jonah's going to play another minion, which will then allow Banana to Shrink Ray to clear off some of his own board without leaving anything with 1 health left behind for a free ping. So this is kind of a couple turn like line that Banana's taking that I think is pretty clever.
Yeah, and it's because I mean ultimately you can clear, but if you leave a board full of water elementals on the other side, it just makes it easier for him to heal back up. And there are only so many times that you can get that 30 damage to it. It looks like we're going to see whatever Jonah has planned for the Leyline Manipulator. It looks like we're going to see it. And he's going to Zola it as well. Choosing to Zola that instead of the Reno, which is interesting. But the Leyline does have lifesteal, being an elemental. So that may be part of his thought process. And Wicker Flame gets picked up for Banana, not really anything of import, because it looks like we have it's not going to clear this board. And it looks like it's time for Anyfin. Okay, so that is enough to just, well, a little bit. You can pop at 1.
Yeah, this is kind of a little awkward, I would say, because he does have the board full of elementals, but I mean, I think he's preparing himself for healing back up to 30 regardless.
Right, I mean, Reno is a card that he knows is very likely in the hand, and he has had opportunity with Dirty Rat, but that would also take up a spot on board for one of the Murlocs, so...
Yeah, and this is really... These next few turns are going to be the most important turns for the Mage, because this is where it gets really scary, is after you've dealt with the first Anyfin, you've Reno'd, you've used your Ice Block, you've used your best defensive tools in the deck, but there's still that second Anyfin looming that can do upwards of 30 damage very easily.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how Jonah decides to navigate this in terms of, like, what does he freeze? What does he deal with? Shooting Star is going to take out the 2/1 attack minions and the Finja. And then, well, the lifesteal isn't really relevant because he's a 30, but the Divine Shields would have kept him from healing up that way.
Yeah, I think JonahRah just wants to leave the board how it is. I don't think he wants to really... he doesn't want to kill it off. He doesn't want to let JonahRah have space.
There's the other Anyfin coming right into hand, no Prismatic Lens needed. This does give Banana an opportunity to clear off at least the 2/2. The rest of the Divine Shields are going to be what they are because he doesn't have a way to clear them off himself, unless he has something he can pull with the Prismatic Lens to do that. But I don't even think Paladin has a card that would let him do that.
I think Banana's going to have to take this slow and like use his own attacks, not to whittle down JonahRah, because he's going to heal back up anyways, but I think he wants to clear off his own board over 2 turns and then just slam the second Anyfin and hope there's no relevant interaction from JonahRah that prevents a lethal Anyfin.
Do you ever just Shrink Ray here and just clear off these minions right now?
I think you might. I think you might want to. I think this is probably the best Shrink Ray's going to get, because ideally this game ends in 2 turns anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you still give him back a water elemental. I guess that's not the plan, but
Okay,
At
so
least we agreed that it could have been.
yeah, so Banana says, "You're not gonna deal with my board. You're not gonna attack and heal up. So I'm just gonna
Ooh.
hit you." And that's what he's doing.
Yeah. And no idea if Banana wanted to play that Spike Ridge Steed or not, but came a little bit too late for it to be able to be of use anyway.
Yeah, this definitely, like, this end game is so interesting because it comes down to staring contest, and it's just who blinks first.
There's a Thorson for Jonah. I don't know if that's part of his end game plan or if that's just there because Thorson's a good card.
Yeah, I'm not sure. JonahRah's build is looking very interesting, and I suspect that there's some really slow late game plan with an Antonidas leyline manipulator like OTK with Sorcerer's Apprentices and something.
So we're gonna clean up the rest of this board except for the Divine Shields, look like, and we're gonna have a whole army of elementals here on the board. Looks like. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, I guess this Arcane Blast really isn't doing anything else for you. But it looks like Jonah's trying to figure out if he wants to just attack this Crystal Smith Kangor or just start freezing face and getting some face damage in.
Yeah, I think this 1/2 represents much less of a threat than a potential Murloc.
Okay, so there's the Shrink Ray, but we don't have any Wild Pyromancers in this deck, looks like. Well, we would have seen them by now, because we play both Call to Arms, so we would have seen a Pyromancer by now.
Yeah, so I think the only clear potentially probably has with that is Consecration.
Right. And, I mean, we're 28 cards into Banana's deck right now, so unless the last 2 cards are Consecration, then that's probably not in the list. I mean, the Shrink Ray makes sense in terms of limiting the healing and limiting the amount of damage you can go back the other way. I'm not sure where Banana goes from here, though. It's just gonna pass and pass back to Jonah. Mad Scientist really isn't. I can't imagine there are many secrets left in the deck for Jonah at this point. And here's Antonidas, so we're gonna see what is up here.
Yeah, Banana
just getting a fireball.
Banana playing that Shrink Ray last turn was just saying, I'm getting this off of the board. I have anything. What can you do about it? And it looks like not much. So we're going to see if his Murloc Resurrects are enough to deal 30.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a matter of how many Finges he resurrects, basically. How many Chargers he gets, how many Finges, how many War Leaders. There's another Shrink Ray.
All right.
But that's not what we're interested in. And that is 14 and 8 is 22. That is 30 exactly. Wow.
Only one Finja for Exactsies. That was...
Oh, that was... Wow.
Yeah,
that could have gone very bad. Very, very badly.
Yeah, and that's kind of the issue with playing Finja. We saw it didn't come back to bite him this time, but it very likely could have. But he comes out with a win there, and we see him pick up a win with the Paladin.
Yep, so we still have that Reno Mage from Jonah. Looks like he's going to go to his Warrior, and we're going to see Banana's Mage next.
And, ooh, I think we both agree that the Warrior is kind of one of the decks we're most interested to see, and it looks like it might be a N'Zoth build, which I'm really happy to see.
Yeah, I mean, well, we know it's not Taunt Warrior, and we know it's not even Rod, so... and this looks like it was probably also a Reno Mage from Banana, again with the Ley Line and the Explosive Sheep. This is probably just something that we haven't played enough Reno Mage in Wilds to know what the end game is for this, and that's, you know... I'm not smart enough to play Reno Mage in Wild, honestly. Like, I played a little bit of Big Spell Mage today because Get Me Out was playing that, but Reno Mage is a little bit too much for me. It was just barely at my skill level when it was in Standard. So this Acolyte's gonna come down for Banana and probably draw him some cards, and I am very interested in what's going on with Jonah. We do see a Death Lord. We see just a bunch of good removal cards. Other than that,
yeah,
there's Reno into the hand for Banana.
Deathlord's actually one of the most unassumingly powerful cards in Wild, especially in this like any N'Zoth decks, because it functions as disruption for really greedy plans like Shutterwalk or Reno even, or any
Basically
sort of
any
combo.
druid.
Yeah,
Any druid. I mean, it's
druid,
basically there just to like pull out Aviana. Or pull out Kuhn. Like that's why it exists.
Yeah, and then it also functions as a really nice taunt, like brick wall against aggro as well. So it's really multifaceted in the format.
Yeah, Mega Assembly. So it looks like we're gonna see some mechs. Wind Up Burglebot is not the hero we need. These are not great choices at all. Screwjack Clunker is. Wow. Ziliax is a little bit better.
Yeah. I remember.
This is why Mech Warrior wasn't played the first time around, because the mechs were awful.
Your payoff was Screwjack Clunker.
Yeah. You play that into Junkbot and you're off to the races, right?
Your big finish was 4 mana 2/5. Give something +2/+2.
So Frostlich Jade into the hand for Banana, and looks like this might be a Giggling Inventor turn. It certainly is best on curve option if that's what he chooses to go for.
Yeah, I could see him going with the Inventor. He wants to clear this Death Lord, but it's so awkward because I think he wants to just draw more cards before he deals with that. And I
mean, he could Frostbolt it. I mean, he could just Frostbolt it and go. And I mean, that is going to presumably pull out like the Kazakis. It's going to pull out the Zola. It's going to pull out whatever else he has as a payoff for this Leyline Manipulator.
Choosing to take it slow. Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess there is no rush in this matchup.
All right. Well, and that Geist.
So Geist gets rid of 2 Shield Slams, a Shooting Star, and an Arcane Blast.
Yeah. So that's not really. I mean, you know, the Archmage Antonitis plan aside, it's not a huge loss as far as what's getting pulled off the Skulking Geist. And this Blood Razor will make some pretty quick work of this Giggling Inventor if Jonah decides that that's what he wants to play. Going with the Dry Risk for armor first, get 6 armor. That's a pretty decent plan right there. And take the shields off. Deathlord goes into 1. Arcane Keysmith is not the worst thing to pull, all things considered.
Yeah, it definitely could have been worse with something like Kazakis or
Luna's Pocket Galaxy.
I
am. My interest is peaked.
I think we know why the Antonitis is in here now.
Yeah. All right, now we're talking.
We are seeing some
I have a golden one that I need
brews.
to use.
Oh really? It looks so sick with the swirling galaxy.
So pretty.
It's awesome.
It's so pretty. It rotates. It's fantastic. I wish it was better. So looks like we're gonna armor up. Looks like Ziliax is the play for Jonah, and start going face with the minions on board. And here comes the Ice Block into hand for Banana. So that is part 1 of the Don't Die plan. 1 turn away from Frostlich Jaina.
Yeah, Jaina I think is gonna play a big role.
Yeah.
It's such a good card against the slow decks because every single activation of the hero power, you have to navigate your entire game plan around it. So I think he's going to go for Ice Block, and then I don't think he wants to Arcane Intellect ever.
No, you have to assume you're going to Fatigue. Yeah.
So maybe playing to find a board clear. He's not afraid of dying. He's going to take some damage, but he's got Reno and Jaina, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting 5 armor next turn pretty much no matter what. You can take out this 2/1 just to, you know, eliminate a nuisance from the board.
Screwjank Clunker coming down
MVP.
in Wild.
What a world. What a time to be alive.
I know.
That's why I love cards like Omega Assembly, though, because where would you ever play Screwjack Clunker, and a 1-mana Kazakis is pretty sick. That's not on the menu for this turn, but that is in our future.
Yeah, Bananaramic's draw steps are going to get so much better as the game goes on because of Luna's Pocket Galaxy.
Yeah. And if there is a Stargazer Luna in here too, then we're gonna have some fun.
Oh, we're gonna see some fireworks if that's the case.
So Jonah just taking out this water elemental, getting frozen, but that's the last activation of the weapon, so no big deal there. And Sludge Belcher is on the menu, looks like. Or, yeah, we're going to armor up. And, yep, Sludge Belcher is coming down. So we're building a wall. 1 mana Zola the Gorgon's not bad either.
That is.
I'd pay 1 mana for that.
Oh, yeah. I'd pay 1 mana for that any day.
Wow. So
wondering what
but not really a lot for Banana to do on this turn. I mean, he can drop the Kazakus and Zola if he wants to. I would imagine the Zola's more earmarked for Reno. 1 mana Malagos. Oh my goodness.
Goodness. Oh, it's hot.
Wow.
It's hot in here.
Yeah. This is like the Ghost Pepper of spicy decks. I am.
What on the Scoville scale is 1 mana Kazakus, Zola, and Malagos? Is that like a million?
This is like when they had that Food Network show where they went into the kitchen and they had to wear gas masks to prepare the hot sauce.
Oh my gosh.
So we have a Spellbreaker coming into hand and a weapons project as well. 2 weapons projects looks like for Jonah, and he's working down that armor. Oh boy. I don't know how this plan is coming together, but I really want to find out.
Yeah, I am.
And I really want Banana to live long enough to find out how this ends.
Whatever is about to happen, I want to see it really bad.
Oh man, and then with the Zola, with the brand Zola Kazakus, you could Leyline Manipulator, then get 2 more 2 mana Kazakuses and discount the spells.
Yeah, this is an interesting turn, I think. It's possible that he might. Okay, so he's
gonna have to go quick. All right, so we got 1 mana spells. Yeah. So we're just looking for burn, I would bet. The first one is deal 3 damage, freeze an enemy minion.
We found another deal 3.
We found, yeah. So that is deal 3 damage, gain 4 armor.
So that was actually pretty important for him to find, because what I was gonna say was he may want to just Reno this turn, because I think the ice block is more valuable than the Reno activation.
Yeah.
Because it basically buys him an entire extra turn. But it looks like he found a separate way to heal, which is fairly important, so he doesn't get burned down.
Right. So he won't have to worry about using all that mana to Reno next turn, because that would slow him down considerably. And it looks like Jonah's going to address the board now with lethal out of range and another Deathlord coming down to block this 3/6.
So
and
now
weapon project is going to be good. Yeah.
Now I'm just thinking about all of the absolute possible low rolls JonahRah could have hit off of that Deathlord earlier.
This 1 mana Thorson too. Good night.
This is so good.
This is sick.
This is just pure Hearthstone.
I must decide.
This is exactly what I was hoping to see.
Yep, me too. Definitely not mad about pulling that Dry Whisker.
No, I mean, getting rid of that armor, that represents what, at least 4 armor, probably closer to 6, and once he goes off, it's going to be a lot more that he can heal up if he can't do this all in 1 turn.
He's pinging the Deathlord, which I like, because if he pinged the 1/2 or the 2/1, then JonahRah would just run that into the Rat. But because he pinged the Deathlord, then that weakens up the Deathlord for potential ping later on.
Yeah.
JonahRah's hand actually is not looking very good. He has a bunch of reactive cards and pretty much no pressure at all.
Yeah, I mean, he does have 45 life, so that's
Yeah.
what he has going for him right now, because we're not seeing a way yet for Banana to burn him down for 45. So, I mean, if he just keeps armoring up, he may end up just running Banana out of time, possibly. There's a Polymorph. And Banana's got a full hand and needs to figure out what to do with all of these 1-mana minions.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do a preemptive Reno, which is fine. Can Zola that right now if he wants to.
Not even sure he necessarily needs to. I think he's just okay with it being a 4/6 that gives him a little cushion.
I mean, really, he's just going to need like the one extra turn once he gets everything set up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm happy or frustrated that we don't have these lists, because I would love to know what else is in the deck.
Yeah, it would definitely help me figure out how this game's gonna go, because right now I think the only thing JonahRah has going for him is the fact that he can press that armor up button every turn.
Yeah.
But,
and the fact that he can play 2 weapons projects for another 12 if he needs to.
Yeah, but the thing is, if Bananaramic does have a way to assemble an OTK, then the armor isn't actually going to matter.
Well, I mean, the OTK may do 30. Right now it has to do 45.
Yeah. If he has a way to like generate infinite damage somehow.
Yeah,
but...
I would imagine there's an Antonidas waiting for us somewhere in the deck. There's a Thaurissan. So now, if you brawl, I guess you do have the hit face with the weapon execute as a backup plan if it leaves the Thaurissan behind. Or use Spellbreaker. That's fine.
I kind of like this. He doesn't really care about a 5/5, I don't think.
Yeah. He just cares about it not making things even cheaper than they already are.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of those cases where like the body is far less valuable than the effect.
Yeah. Though, I mean, a 5/5 working through some of that armor is not inconsequential given what Banana's game plan is.
Yeah, it is going to provide some chip damage, which will be nice for Banana. But I think JonahRah, I think that was probably his most proactive play last turn. We see the N'Zoth come into hand, and do you think he might just run it out here? It's not the best. I think he only has the Death Lords and a Belcher under it.
It looks like he has a Belcher, he has 1 Death Lord, and that's it.
Oh yeah, he got the other one sheeped, but the way he's playing, it seems like he wants to and feels like he needs to be proactive, so I think that's the most proactive play he can go with right now.
And you know, this Death Lord dying is probably something that JonahRah wants to happen to.
Yeah, like, it looks like he made that play really quickly.
Yeah.
Well, and we see why.
Well, we're going to get us some fireballs.
Oh my goodness. You know what he's going to do? He's going to fill his hand up with fireballs. Then go Manipulator, Zola, Manipulator. They all cost 0.
Yep.
And then Malagos with all of them. Oh, this is so good.
It's so gross.
This is so sick. I love everything that's happening right now.
This is amazing. Oh.
Just pick...
Pyroblast! Why not? Let's go! We may need 10 more damage. Why not? Oh, we're gonna get the effigy. Okay, that's fair, I suppose.
I guess.
I guess that gets us 1 more fireball. I guess that's okay.
Yeah, so he's gonna have 5 fireballs. They're all gonna be discounted, and they're all gonna deal 11.
He's gonna burn a card, though. That's not okay. Oh my goodness!
Now you're just being silly.
I don't even know what I'm seeing.
These are actually going to do 12 because he's going to play the Thalnos if he needs to. So he has 12 times 5. So
and the Antonidas lives after that too. Oh my god. I mean, this deck probably needs to draw perfectly for this to happen, but it did, and we are luckier for it, I would say. Oh.
You're shivering.
I don't even want to say anything. I just want to let this happen. Wow.
He is indeed the essence of magic.
Oh my goodness. I just took a screenshot because that's better than any notes I'm going to be able to take about this game. Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean,
we see Bananaramic kind of start to flip the series around, and
yeah. I mean, I'm taking notes over here, and the only note I have: 1 mana Malygos and lots of fireballs.
yeah, so it looks like they're just really ready to get right into
Yeah.
each game, which I can't blame them
No time
for.
for love, Dr. Jones. We got priests to play, and I see a Twilight's Call, which means this is not Big Priest.
Oh, this looks
I
like it's gonna
wonder
be Boar Priest.
or it could be Boar Priest, or it could be the Velen Malygos OTK with Cloning Gallery.
I have not.
I would not be
seen that one yet.
surprised. This is a deck that Phenom had in Standard, and I guess we'll see if this is what it is. I would love to see that. This is one of the decks I was talking up when we were. No, it is APM Priest. Never mind, it is APM Priest. So we're going to see what APM Priest looks like in Wild.
So far, it's looking the same. It's really interesting because from how I view the format in Wild, a lot of it is... It seems like it's a bit greedier in most sense. There are some really fast aggro decks, but it seems like the control tools are so powerful that you want to be playing really greedy decks. So a deck like APM Priest is perfect for that environment.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have some answer for Druid, because Druid is kind of the, you know, the one limiting factor that you need to be able to play around it. But as long as you can deal with Druid, you can do some pretty busted stuff. And this Potion of Madness could just win the game on its own, potentially. Not right now, but we could get there pretty quickly. No test subject in sight, though.
Yeah, these Death Lords have to be pretty spooky for Bananaramic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on, you know, when they die, right? Like, if they die on Banana's turn, he might be okay with it, depending on what he has to do to get rid of them. But if they die on Jonah's turn, that could be a disaster. Though it looks like he might just be stalling for Psychic Scream.
Yeah, if we get to a point where JonahRah realizes what Banana's playing, we may see him honestly just shield slam his own Death Lord.
Right. Yeah, I would expect the Psychic Scream would come down. I don't know what else would have to happen to keep that from being the play. There's a Topsy-Turvy.
I would not be surprised if we saw the Psychic Scream, because he's not really worried about the damage that these are doing, he's really worried about the death rattles.
Right, he doesn't want that to pull one of those minions out before he's ready to use it. And Psychic Scream getting that out of the way, unless he's thinking that killing them off could give him an opportunity to combo now. But I don't see how he gets rid of these otherwise. It looks like he's looking for like any way to not use the Psychic Scream this turn. But I'm not sure that it's there, because there could be some sort of Potion of Madness play that he's thinking about, but I'm not seeing it if there is one.
Yeah, I don't really see a clean way to do it, because you'd probably have to use... You'd have to Potion of Madness the 2/6, Topsy-Turvy it, and then run those in to each other.
Well, I guess we're gonna draw. We're gonna try to... Do we burn cards? We're gonna burn cards on the draw for Jonah. And then this Potion of Madness... Okay, I'm not seeing this line, but... Okay.
So it looks like he just wanted
Maybe
to
he's
use...
just trying to keep those alive, I guess is what he's thinking. And just
Yeah.
kind of getting stuff out of his own hand, which is fine.
Yeah, this makes a decent amount of sense, because he did use the potion just to clear a card out of his hand, and he gave the other one +2 just to give them more health so it's harder to kill. And I think JonahRah may sniff this out at this point.
Well, it looks like he's using the Shield Slam on... It looks like he's targeting the Murloc and not one of his own Death Lords. Well, he's thinking about it now.
If I was JonahRah, I would probably be very confused. I'd be like, why did he play the way that he did? And it's gonna be good that he kept the Shield Slam, I think, because there is a certain point where I don't think Bananaramic can hide what he's trying to do anymore. And then
Yeah.
these Death Lords can be a really big, like, kink in Bananaramic's plan.
Yeah, because I mean, you're not seeing anything yet that really says to you what the hell is going on, right? Like you're seeing like basic control priest cards. So there's not really any reason from Jonah's perspective to panic yet.
Yeah, I think that Psychic Scream may signal that something's up. Because if
you're gonna see that in
that's true, you're gonna see that
in control priest
where you have like any relevant value minions.
Yeah, like any pre-stack that's not going to be even like Inner Fire Priest is gonna run that, like normal Inner Fire Priest.
Yeah, so this is gonna be definitely an interesting game. Ooh,
that could have gone very differently with only the other 2 minions in the hand.
Yeah, so JonahRah might still just be in the dark about what he's playing against. I'm sure he'll have his suspicions, but there's nothing that tells him one way or another that this is what we got.
Yeah. I mean, what have you seen? You've seen Giggling Inventors, you've seen a bunch of priest removal. You haven't seen anything that even this Thalnos is not really out of place in like a normal control priest. You'll just do things like this, like Thalnos Spirit Lash, and the Twilight's Call is going to be the first clue that something is afoot, I think.
Yeah,
because we're playing Twilight's Call and we're not playing the quest, so
yeah.
Something is rotten.
So we're doing something busted with that Twilight's Call. What is it?
And I mean, he's going to take a while to think about it. I would expect whatever's going on, you probably are going to want to slam this Skulking Geist that's been sitting in the hand for a little while, just in case it helps.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
That'll clean everything up. Now, I guess we don't know if he runs 1 or 2. I would imagine we run 2 Stone Tusk Spores in this deck.
Yeah, in a format with 2 Dirty Rats in tons of decks, I would assume that we run 2 copies of our combo pieces.
And, there is Twilight's Call to just keep drawing. Twilight's Call Spirit Lash will just replace those 2 cards and heal up for a little bit.
Yeah, I think the problem at this point becomes hand size for Banana.
Right.
Because he's looking at Twilight's Call, and that's going to draw him 2. He'll go down to 8 with Twilight's Call. He'll draw 2 off those, up to 10.
Then he'll go down to 7 with the Spirit Lash. Even if he plays this Loot Hoarder, that'll just replace all those cards, and he'll still be at 9.
Yeah, so I think he'll want to Spirit Lash this after he plays the Hoarder.
Yeah, Shadow Visions is fair. Not sure if... I mean, he's got 1 Vivid Nightmare. I don't know if a second one is really super necessary for the combo. He may want another Psychic Scream just to deal with more Death Lords. Or he's just going to take another Shadow Visions and just roll again. And...
yeah, I think if I was him, I would wait until after I draw to Shadow Visions again. Just to see how our hand shapes up.
Right.
Because how our hand is sculpted will definitely impact what he wants to get. So he needs a test subject and a boar, right?
And
to combo
this
up?
is going to overdraw him for 1 not playing that Spirit Lash.
Yeah.
There's the test subject.
All right.
There's the Dead Ringer.
If he overdraws another boar, I think game's over.
Yeah, because that would have been the argument for the Spirit Lash last turn, is that it kept you from overdrawing and knowing that the boar is still in the deck. But that healing potion is not really what he's looking for right now. I don't think it doesn't look like JonahRah's in a hurry to bring him down to 0.
Yeah, and usually the argument against burning cards off the top of the deck is just pretend they're on the bottom. But in combo decks, it's a little more tricky.
Well, especially when you've already lost one of those pieces, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't, you like, it's not on the bottom. It's gone. Your win condition is gone at this point if he does burn that. And that was a snap pick off the Psychic Scream, but choosing not to use it. And again, ending the turn with a full hand. So, and we only have 6 cards left in the deck. So there goes. Well, that actually helps.
That was actually fantastic for Bananaramic.
that was the best Geist Bananaramic's probably ever seen in his life, coming from the other side. Psychic Scream wouldn't have been a bad burn anyway. But that does get those 2 minions off the board and out of the way. Yeah,
we see the classic Psychic Scream draw of drawing the minion again.
I'm convinced that it's just like coded into the client at this point. All right, so we got another Shadow Visions, another Dead Ringer, basically everything but what Banana wants right now, which is that other board, so he can start trying to combo off and we're gonna see how good his APM really is, because he's got 60 armor to go through and possibly more by the time he gets there.
Yeah, usually if things go well with hand size and nothing really gets too awkward with your test subject, like rerolls back to your hand, you can do an arbitrarily large amount of damage.
Yeah.
So I don't think the armor will be too much of a problem. It'll just depend on how quick he actually is with the deck.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how many times he's gone through that simulator. There's the wind-up Burglebot. The pride of Gadgetzan. And still no boar.
Oh, wow. He forgot to attack. He forgot his minion had rush. So now...
Oh, that was what the oops was.
Yeah, so he may just be able to make this the 2-1 arbitrarily large and kill him that way.
Yeah. Because he doesn't need the board to have charge if he's just got a minion that can attack on the board. Wow.
So we get to sit through this wonderful, wonderful combo. So
Get me out of here, indeed.
So what he's doing for those who may not really know what the combo is he's going to copy these test subjects basically indefinitely and chain them all together to get back divine spirits and then start, it's not exponentially growing, but he's going to start doubling up the health on the, what's the name of the Death Rattle card? Usually it's a boar, but
the Dead Ringer.
on this Dead Ringer. Yeah. And then
and I wouldn't pay much attention to the rope that you're seeing on our spectate screen, because presumably these are all queued up and going, so the fact that the rope is still burning and waiting to blow up doesn't necessarily mean that the combo is over. It's just the animations take a long time to go off.
Yeah, so Banana has theoretically queued up all of these. Yeah, he's at 96 health. He just needs a Topsy Turvy.
Yeah, and I don't know how far he could have gone, but he would have won the simulator.
Yep, and we
have a winner.
We have a winner. Bananaramic is gonna take it.
3-1 over JonahRah. That was pretty much everything I possibly could have hoped for out of this. I will say that.
We saw some really sweet decks. I know you and I both have a definite affinity for the slow, like grindy control decks with some sweet action in the late game.
Yeah. So let me just check in with them and let me just.
Yeah, so I think.
So we're gonna try to get the players in for a call, and we're just seeing if they're both available, and then I guess you could hang up on me and then bring me back in just by calling the group call.
Okay.
We're just waiting for Jonah to say if he wants to. I mean, I might. Oh, he's saying he attacked it, but it got in under the rope.
Oh, that stinks.
Oh, okay.
Your APMs weren't high enough to contest APM Priest.
Yeah. Oh, that's rough.
That is definitely rough. That was definitely an interesting finish to a really interesting match. I think there were some really cool high level lines that were like taken there by both players. that I don't think I would have taken myself, and I don't think most people would have taken. But I think the match was played fairly cleanly overall, and I think most of the matchups went about how we would expect them. The matchups in Wild get fairly polarized because of how many tools each deck has for enacting their game plan. Like, combo decks have so much. Aggro has a lot, but Druid kind of puts their foot down and says spreading plague you. And then they have a tough time. But combo has a lot of tools in Wild. Like, we see the APM Priest. It has, I mean, it's roughly the same build as in Standard. And then we see decks like the Reno Mage with a really strong combo finish because of the power of Luna's Pocket Galaxy, Antonidas, Emperor Thorsan, those kinds of cards. And it's really just interesting to watch some of these decks function as slow control versus aggro, but also kind of unbeatable OTK combo against other control decks. It's really interesting how they toe that line in each matchup.
And it's fascinating just seeing like the best of Wild, like broken decks doing incredibly broken things to each other and who can be broken first, basically. So both the players are available. So if you want to hang up on me and then call you can just kind of call from the group chat, and then we can get them both in this way.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hey,
I'd
like to both of you. That was one of the most fun matches I have cast in a long time.
I'd like to congratulate Banana for DDoSing my computer. Okay, I played the thing. I realized, okay, Boar's gone. There's no way I can lose this game as long as I kill every minion he plays. And he plays like 3 more minions. And I play the thing. I targeted the minion, and then it just, I don't know, it didn't make, and I end turn and then just didn't make the attack, and it did like the cancel effect white letters.
Jonah, I didn't DDoS you, but you just got outplayed. You didn't notice I put a banana peel under your mouse.
Not put a single divine spirit on it, and then I watched the rope burn for 30 seconds right at the end.
Oh,
so, okay.
That's a rough way.
Banana's got some hacks.
You didn't notice that I put a banana peel underneath your mouse, man. You just slipped the attack.
I mean, you know, to get Pocket Galaxy to actually go off, there have to be some hacks going into the match too. Because I've tried to play that card, I've never had it work out that way. I have one in Golden, and I've tried to play it in a lot of decks. I've never had it actually work out where it did what I wanted it to do. And we were just looking at that, like every card, because we didn't have, obviously we didn't have the deck list, and we're just looking at every card that gets drawn and just giggling like. Every card that was coming out was just more and more like nauseating. That was one match coming out of the deck.
Yeah, that
didn't my Dirty Rat lose that? Wasn't every minion in his hand a combo piece besides Emp?
No, it was like you had a 3 out of 5. It was like
Emp. There was like Emp in hand was like Malygos.
I mean, you had like a Zola, 2 out of 5 actually.
No, it was like Malygos, Zola, and Leyline are all there. And then I
also had Thanos, and I also had Thanos Zola Emperor, so it was actually just like
3 out of 5. Yeah, it's a close one. And then like I
don't know. Even Zola is okay to pull because it didn't matter. So
yeah, I don't think you win the last one too, but against Reno Mage. I don't know how you ever beat Reno Mage with that deck. Because there's like especially in my list, there's block, Potion of Poly, block Potion to Poly and Dirty Rat, and I think it's just Dirty Rat. But yeah, and the draw package.
Yeah. So I mean, Jonah? I just want to ask you about the Warrior deck because I don't think we got to see exactly what the end game is. I mean, we saw N'Zoth. What were you looking to? You know, your ideal board coming out of the N'Zoth and that with that.
Oh, I just thought he was gonna play Inner Fire Priest, so I just wanted a deck that was gonna cuck Inner Fire Priest.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So it was like Geist, double Spellbreaker, double Shield Slime, double Execute, control warrior that just combo priest can never beat.
Wow.
And then my hunter deck had like a bunch of stuff that inner fire priest could never beat, and my Reno mage was also tapped to beat inner fire priest. So it was supposed to just beat that deck, and then.
I mean, inner fire can still be your hunter deck, man. Potion of Madness on your eggs.
Yeah, but you don't really have a great way to activate the eggs besides interfiring them and buffing them and stuff, which isn't all that great. Yeah. But it has like double.
Or a Dustbreaker thing.
It has like the magnetic thing, the spider bomb, and then 2 hunter marks.
Yeah. Jesus, he's so cancer, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I saw he had priest. I thought the man doesn't play big priest. He just plays inner fire and Reno priest, and I can beat it with all 3 of these decks. And then I thought it was Reno priest for a while. Then I ratted out a second Gidlane, and I was like, oh, it's APM priest in wild.
We were trying to figure out at what point you would catch on that, you know, something was dirty that was going on in the deck, because I don't think we would have. We were looking at the cards that got played, and it looked pretty innocuous.
I was actually thinking at the end that Banana was running double board because he's just like that. I'm just like, what am my board? What am my board? It's ratted. I'll just put double test subject, double board.
We were actually talking about that in a format like Wild, where you have cards like double Dirty Rats in some decks running around. If you'd be like greedy enough to put a second boar in the list.
I don't think a bit bored. I think you just use the potion because no one really plays Geist.
I was using Geist right now. Planning on the potion as backup for boy.
Yeah, you just potion something and then do all that.
And you know, we don't see the list, so we're like, well, what if he burns a boar, not knowing that there's no second one in the deck, but you know, you didn't really care what.
Yeah, at that point, like everything else in my deck didn't actually matter. It was just like, I hope I stick a minion sometime.
Well, you know, with help from the client, you did that, but
yeah.
I'm really happy the Ed Hunter won a game. That seemed powerful, and I learned Control Warrior still sucks. So, but I'm gonna go back to playing real Warrior. That's like Pirate Warrior.
I mean, the Shawns have feigned death was pretty nauseating too.
That was nuts, dude. I didn't hit both my Shrink Rays and Prismatic Lens that were the bottom 10. I just needed one of those, and then I could have just stopped your board.
If you Shrink Ray though, I get to profit my ads.
Yeah, I just finished.
If you Shrink Ray, you have a bunch of 1/1s, and I don't play any minions, and then they anything for 30 damage.
I had just finished saying before that Egg Hunter doesn't play defense particularly well, and then you went Shaw, Feign Death, kill your board.
Yeah, Egg Hunter's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna play that deck on Wild Lad and try to win games with it. I just made the deck, and I was like, let's stick to good standard stuff, and then we'll just put in like Feign Death and Nerubian Ed. And then I played a game on ladder and I won, and I was like, cool, this deck works.
Yeah. How much of your deck building is that? Is just kind of like, well, this deck works in standard. Let me just change out these 3 or 4 cards and then see how it works on the Wild Ladder. Or do you start there, or do you?
That's all my deck building. I don't do anything original. I just see something someone really good did. I'm like, oh shit, I should probably put some broken wild cards in that, and then it'll do really well. And then people think I'm a genius, and then it works.
Secrets of deck building, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, change 3 cards, and it's your deck. No, you don't need credit at all. It's 100% your deck once you change 3 cards. Slap your name on it.
Professional net decker.
Slap your name on it. Tag Arun, the ducky guy, and H's Pro Dats. So there you go. Yeah. 50 lights.
That's the pro strats to deck building. And I mean, the Anyfin, we were both really happy just to see it, because like Anyfin is the one deck that I try to make work like every time that there's a new meta, just because I love playing that deck. And I love that the Prismatic Lens in the deck to try to find the extra copies of the spells is, I've seen that a little bit in Control, Paladin, and Standard, and seeing that with Anyfin just makes so much sense, because I mean, you can't make it worse than 10 mana for sure.
Right.
Were you running Equality or Tarim in that deck?
No.
He's just like not drawn. Why are you not running Tarim?
Because it's Control. I don't need Tarim. I don't care about my board. I don't want my board to stick because I want anything.
Dude, if you play Tarim, you can just kill people. You don't even need that. You don't need
anything. Sometimes Tarim's not good enough to kill people.
Imagine someone has like 2 8/8s on board, and you just play Tarim, and now they're 3/3s, and you have a 3/7.
I could also just play Shrink Ray, and all they have are 1/1s.
Dude,
And
what if
it's
you
like,
already
okay.
played both? What if you've already played both your street cards?
What if I already played Terra?
What if you
That
play your
doesn't make
What if you
sense,
play
dude.
your call to arms on turn 5 and you can't kill any of your minions, and you just turn them all into 3/3s and that's turn and value trade into the
I'd
void?
rather look for more Murlocs, man. I'm not into that tier. Dude, low tier Paladin Legendary.
You can
Just
play
sitting
Odd
here.
Paladin and put Tarim in it, and you'll still win games because Tarim's that good.
So one thing that we were talking about during the Anyfin versus Rena Mage match, or that game, was the decision to play
Finja?
Yeah, Finja early on, because I know sometimes that can
Yeah.
really
I was,
interfere with the OTK.
My hope at the end there was just trying to stall him out long enough to try to draw a Gatling Inventor
Mhm.
and one of my taunt minions like that, or Kazakus in main armor, and then I was just like leaving the Divine Shields up so he couldn't clear my board, so he couldn't clear his board enough so that anything would be lethal. And then eventually he started just going face, and I was like, oh well, he probably runs Sunkeeper Tarim in his deck. And then so I was like, okay, I have to kind of clear here.
Yeah, it turns
And
into
then he
a
ended up
really,
with 38 damage.
like a
exactly,
really
so
interesting
this
staring
is
contest at the
banana.
end.
Yeah,
That
the
was-
thing about Finja
was
is
a turbo side.
it's basically one of the most insane cards in the deck. You always play it unless you already have all the Murlocs, basically, because the chance of your second anything low rolling that badly is pretty low. So I think at that point, anything hitting for 30 plus is like above 70%,
Okay.
something like that.
You got it really
Yeah.
close though.
More than
Yeah, that was close though. That was close. I almost low rolled. So
Yeah. All right. Appa, anything else you have to ask these gentlemen, or we should probably let folks go and because we do have another matchup tonight. We need to get out of the way and let that team start getting set up for match number 2 for the evening. So
Yeah, nothing really I wanted to ask. Just wanted to say thanks for letting us spectate and cast an awesome match. That was a lot of fun.
and can you tell the folks where they can find you on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube and all that good stuff?
you can go first, Jonah.
I'm JonahRah HS on Twitter, JonahRah on Twitch. You can follow me. I stream Wild a decent amount, probably more in the future because I've had kind of a busy summer working and all that kind of stuff. So I'll probably be back to streaming a lot more on JonahRah on Twitch, I think. And then Twitter, I post stuff occasionally. Post deck lists, tweets about cards I don't like, all that good stuff. It used to be my Twitter was just solely ranting about Call to Arms and how stupid that card is and how it'd be played in every deck if it was printed. And then they printed Gatling Inventor, so I'm pretty sure I'm
Hey, don't forget to rant about Psych Melon.
Psych Melon,
while you're at
yeah.
it.
That's what I thought you were gonna say. So
Also, thank you both of y'all for not bringing Druid the first week.
we both appreciated that. We were happy to cast something different. Banana, where can people find you online?
Twitter at @bananaramic_HS. For my Twitter, I usually post like my deck list, my latest innovations there. Then you can find me on Twitch. I haven't been able to stream recently, but sometimes you can catch me streaming once in a while at @bananaramic_HS at Twitch.
Okay, great. And thank you both for putting on a heck of a show, because this was a hell of a lot of fun to cast. So and thank you for that. It's a shame that it came down to the way that it ended, but it's
You're shivering. Are you afraid?
Appa, any last words for the folks, or?
No, not really. Just stay tuned because we'll have another match coming up fairly soon.
Yep, I believe it should be at 11. I think they pushed it back another half an hour, so I think it's at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. So stay tuned for that. Come right back to this channel, and until then, for Appa, I'm Wicked Good. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.